is Joan Ross. I'm one of the retired clergy in the parish. And it's my joy and my privilege to speak with you on this Environment Sunday. We have environment and care of the environment as the fifth mark of mission of the Church of England. Can we have this slide, please, Colin? To strive to safeguard the integrity of creation and sustain and renew the life of the earth. And this, it suggests, should inform all the other marks of mission, for it is the very planet that we inhabit. It is the very planet whose life we depend upon. And so we have read in today's psalm. Psalm 104 is a song of praise to God, creator and sustainer of all that is, above, in the heavens, in and on the earth, in and on the sea. One who oversees cycles of life and death, giving breath and taking breath, so we return to the dust of the earth. One who provides food and water for animals, crops, wine, oil, and bread for humans. The whole sweep of life being sustained by God's breath, the life-giving Spirit. The psalmist's world is an ancient world observed keenly from repeated yearly cycles of renewal and harvest, from daily cycles of moon and sun, night and day, from mountain tops to sea depths, from the birds of the trees to sea creatures that dwarf men's ships. The psalmist describes their experience of earth, sky, and sea with wonder, with thanksgiving, and with recognition of natural disasters and wild animals. The flip side of wonder, dread, the awful dread of potential threats to human life, recognizing that these also lie within God's creative power. What do you and I observe on a daily basis in our natural environment? What do we reflect on as the seasons turn in the year? Is there a part of your environment that you feel really strongly about? What do you do about it? How do we interact with our natural environment? Are you a gardener, a food grower? Are you a sailor, a paddleboarder, an air pilot? Do you interact with animals? And are we aware of using all of our senses when we interact with our environment? For me, sight is crucial. And the first thing I see is colour and form. So I've brought you 4 slides of work that I have made to reflect my interaction with the seasons. So here is the first one: spring, newness, new life, blues, greens, butterflies. And here is summer, vibrant colours, hot days, hopefully, the beautiful scent of sweet peas. And in the third season of August and September and October, going into November, the colours of autumn, the colours of a vineyard, oranges, purples, greens. And then for winter, the bronze of a beech leaf lying on the woodland floor, dead but beautiful even then, and playing its part in the renewal of Earth's cycles, even as it becomes dust. Sight. Sound. What do you hear? Do you hear birdsong? Do you hear waves? Do you hear dogs? Might you hear foxes? Smell. What do you smell? Not all of nature's smells are beautiful or welcome, but the ones I recall are mown grass and seaweed. Touch. Have you picked blackberries this month? Taste. Have you made that blackberry and apple crumble yet? One of the marks of the season for me. Autumn is a season of transformation. Elizabeth Barrett Browning invites us to enter it with eyes, hearts, and minds and spirits wide open in this poem. Earth's crammed with heaven, and every common bush afire with God, but only she who sees takes off her shoes. The rest sit round and pluck blackberries. This week, may we see and wonder as well as pluck blackberries. And when we look at the night sky, may our hearts reach out in praise to our Creator. For our lives evolved over precarious eons, are birthed on a spinning planet that's orbiting a burning star set in one of the trillions of galaxies believed to exist. It is beyond our comprehension. We are in wonder. We also have responsibility. And in our first 21st century understanding of geological time, the time that the psalmist writes in belongs to the Holocene age, an age defined by relative climatic stability that fosters the flourishing of life. In our time, in the late 20th century, a new concept emerged among geologists and scientists that recognized a new Earth epoch. The Anthropocene age. It's defined by the action of anthropos, human beings, and as human beings, we are shaping the Earth geologically and climatically on a global scale. So much so that we now live in a nuclear age of both energy and weaponry. We live in an age where extraction of non-renewable mineral resources has massively increased. An age where population growth outstrips food production, where carbon emissions and pollution degrade our natural environments, where increasing numbers of plant and animal species are becoming extinct, their habitats lost, where industrial and domestic waste lays down layers of discarded metal, concrete, and plastic. It is a very different scenario to that presented to us by the psalmist. The environment writer Robert Macfarlane, writing in his book Underland, says that the Anthropocene understanding exposes both the limits of our control over the long-term processes of our planet and the magnitude of the consequences of our human activities. He asks, what signatures will our species leave in geological strata? And as he reflects on this, he believes that what will survive of us is plastic, swine bones, and lead-207, the stable isotope at the end of the uranium-235 decay chain. Then he poses the question, are we being good ancestors? No, absolutely not. So how can we be good ancestors for the generations that follow us, those already born, those yet to be born? What is necessary in our world for us to be collectively and globally good ancestors, both here and across this world? It must engage profound personal, collective, corporate, and political change. Finitude, wonder, responsibility, finitude. You and I are mortal. We are born, we live, we die. We are finite beings. We inhabit the earth with other living creatures, drawing upon our planet's finite resources to live. And this concept of finitude is vital because it focuses our minds to know how short a time we have to savor living. Set against the estimated 4.5 billion years of our planet Earth, any one individual's lifespan is indeed ephemeral. Yet, we matter. Each one of us matters. We matter to ourselves. We matter to each other. We matter to our planet. We matter to God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer of all that is. In the verses that follow our reading from Luke's Gospel in chapter 12, Jesus encourages his disciples by assuring them that as God provides for the sparrows of the air and the lilies of the field, so God knows their needs too and will provide. Keep faith, he urges. Don't keep worrying. Above all, strive, seek for God's kingdom to come on earth. And Jesus' next words show how God will provide through kingdom values and actions. In chapter 12, verse 33, he says, "Sell your possessions and give alms. Make purses for yourself that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." It is encouragement, but it is also very strong warning. And in my view, Jesus strikes the Achilles heel of Western Christianity with these words. They are hard for us to hear because, to a greater or lesser extent, our church institutions carry significant material, property, and financial wealth. Our responsibility lies in using this wealth to bring God's kingdom on earth in our day. This is a chapter of warnings in Luke's Gospel. Verse 15, Jesus says, "Take care, be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist of the abundance of possessions." A warning that Jesus illustrates with a parable. A rich man Now, who would be a rich man in Jesus' day? Very few people, and probably none of those in the crowd he addressed. Who do we consider to be rich today? The 2020 Credit Suisse Global Wealth Report estimated that the poorest half of our global population owned just 1% of total wealth. The top third, the richest third of our global population, held 97% of total wealth. And the very top 1%, in terms of riches and wealth, held 43% of total wealth. So we inhabit a world of stark divisions between those living in daily poverty and those with more than enough resources. It is a stark division between nations, and it is also a stark division between households within nations. So what does this rich man do in Jesus' parable? And why does Jesus call him a fool? Well, the farmer gathers the abundant harvest in the bigger barns and plans to eat, drink, and be merry. From some respects, he would be prudent. He would be conserving the future. He would be retiring with lots to enjoy. But Jesus calls him a fool. And he calls him a fool because he remembered the wrong things. He remembered only himself, first person singular. And he forgot the essential things, his neighbours. If his barns were too small, there were always others to share and store his surplus. And he forgot time. He looked ahead, and he forgot his finitude, and he forgot God, the giver and taker of life. Eugene Peterson, in his translation of the Message, comments on this parable with an old story in which 3 apprentice devils who were coming from hell to serve their time on earth were asked what they would do by their master. One said, "I'll tell people there is no God." "Oh, that won't do," said their master, "because they already know in their hearts that there is." "I will tell them," said the second, "that there is no hell." "Oh, that's still more hopeless," their master responded, "because even in life they've experienced the remorse, agony, and regret of hell." "Well," said the third, "I will tell people that there is no hurry." "Yes, go," said the master. "Tell them that, and you'll ruin them by the millions." The lie that there is no hurry. Just look after yourself, eat, drink, and be merry. Or, in respect of our natural environment, the comment made in an address to the United Nations in New York last week that proposed that climate change is the biggest con. In real terms, there is no climate change con. The time for individuals, concerned groups, including churches, local and national governments, to act beyond their own interests is now, and it is finite. To return to the C of E's 5th mark of mission, to strive to safeguard the integrity of creation and sustain and renew the life of the earth. I believe this is one of the key ways that our Christian faith hits the ground running here and now. And it is a fruitful practice for partnership with other concerned groups beyond our church walls. What do you and I already do in our homes, in our work, in our businesses? How can we enhance that and take it further? St. Faith's Church has a People and Planet group that provides a community resource for recycling and an area of wildflower meadow in its grounds. Do you have ideas, energy, and time to be part of this group, to develop our church's contribution to this challenge? If so, please see Will or Elaine Johnson. For this is a challenge. It is a challenge complete with Jesus' warnings about wealth and greed. And may God's Spirit move in our lives to open our hearts, our minds, and our hands to respond as we follow Jesus, the Christ, here and now. Amen.